Hey everyone, Camelot 331 here, and let's go ahead and get something out of the way. I stayed in a big spooky house last weekend, and I must have gotten bit by a bug or a ghost, cause I have a golf ball on my face right here. You see that? Let's just go ahead and zoom in on that bad boy. You got your fill yet? You need 3 seconds? Okay, I'm just a frail little human. What do you expect? I'm frail, talentless, sad, and above all, I look ugly. I mean, look at this. So welcome to the show today, and I want to talk to you about getting robbed at gunpoint at Gamestop. And I'm talking giant fat revolvers and shaky hands, man. I'm talking about a perfect recipe for me eating a smoothie buffet for the rest of my life. It was my first experience with this sort of thing, so hold my feeding tube and let's get into it. The date was October 30th, 2007, because if they did it a day later on Halloween, no one would have thought it was a real burgle. Hey look, it's 2 guys dressed up as robbers, which is perfectly normal on today, the day of Halloween. So it was me, Wally, and Hammy. Wally was the ASM at the time, and Hammy was the third key. Wally was going through all the Black Friday signage and floor plans, and I was putting games away behind the counter, like the sealed games that we'd put behind the counter. And Hammy was off that day, and he was just up at the store playing World of Warcraft on his laptop. Which reminds me, I'm so pumped, man. I'm so pumped. We were just chatting it up and having a good time. You know, back when GameStop was relaxing and laid back and generally a fun place to work. We had one customer in the store, and I went up to the register to take care of him. You know, ask him if he had an Edge card, ask him if he wanted to pre-order Call of Duty 4, threatened to take the blood of his first newborn if he refused. The normal stuff. He paid for his items, I gave him his receipt, and he promptly left the store. About 30 seconds later, the door chime went off, and the door swings wide open and we hear the words, "Nobody move." 2 guys stood at the door dressed in all black and brandishing large guns. One has a katana in the art. I don't really know why. I guess it's kinda cool looking. One of the guys quickly rushed behind the counter, told me to turn around and put the barrel of a chihuahua-sized pistol up against my temple. He then started screaming at Wally to open up the register. It was all happening so fast that I didn't really have time to react, so I just complied. I stood there with my eyes open, waiting for something. I don't really know what. For the next thing, whatever it was. I heard the register pop open. I heard some change moving around. Then the robber guy got irate and started screaming and asking where the bags were. Screaming it over and over. Where are the bags at? Where are the bags at? The bags he were referring to was bags that we would put large amounts of money throughout the day in and put it into the safe, like cash drops basically. It was a relatively slow night, so there was no bags and not much in the till. The barrel got pressed harder and harder against my temple as the guy flung the register closed, making a really loud, sharp noise. Around that time, something came over me. It was like a calm feeling, like a relaxed feeling, as the barrel was pushed harder into my head. Like a feeling of peace, if that makes sense. Because judging from how he was acting, from the low amount of money that was in the register, I was sure I was gonna die right then and there. I grew up in a rather rough part of my state. Gangs and such would hit stores, sometimes killing the folks inside because it was part of their gang initiation to do so, to take a life. So in that moment, I was sure I was dead, and for some reason, a reason I can't really explain, I was okay with it. Probably because subconsciously, I knew my life was gonna fall apart a couple years later. I felt fulfilled and at peace. I had accepted my fate and my mind just went blank. Not more than around 5 seconds later, with my eyes still closed, the door chime went off and they were gone. Wally was extremely upset. He was throwing stuff because he was just really mad that they had basically stolen from us, that they had taken from us. I was just quiet. I hadn't really processed what had just happened. Hammy came up to me and asked me if I was okay. He never said a word during the ordeal, which was probably the most optimal thing to do at that time. So shortly after the cops arrived, even faster than our 87-year-old security guard. He was apparently in TJ Maxx talking to the females that worked there, in perfect old creepy guy fashion. We explained what happened to the police and we gave them the surveillance footage from our store and filed a report. My DM called me, hell, everybody called me. We told our DM later as a result we needed more security at nights. Something to prevent something like that from happening. The store was literally 30 feet away from like a crime-riddled area. Like we were such an easy target. He said we didn't have anything in the budget to provide anything like security or anything like that. So he basically suggested that if it happened again for us to just run in the back, like the back room. Which would be great because the door to the back room was paper thin and didn't lock or even latch. So dying in a much more enclosed place I guess seemed like a better idea. The next day, the regional manager called me and my parents apologizing over and over, and he even offered me a month off with pay, which was obviously a ploy to get me to not file a lawsuit. But I was trying to act all tough at the time, so I said no to the time off, and I was like, I just want to get back to work. I mean, I was 17 and dumb. We were all 17 and dumb once. If you offered me a month off with pay now, I would literally not bathe for 30 days and go into a food coma. So the moral of that story is do not act tough. Tough equals dumb. My store manager, Egg, had a region meeting the week after that to prepare for Q4. He told everyone what happened, and he added a small detail. He told everybody that I was sobbing and crying, which didn't happen. I was just quiet, relieved. I mean, if I cry, I'll tell you, I'm not embarrassed. I cry every day. It's part of my daily schedule. I watch Moana, I cry every day. But he was completely lying. Keep in mind that he wasn't even there. The police never caught the guys that robbed us, and GameStop's answer was, just run. You can get shot in the back. At least you can have an open casket funeral. So I survived, which I regret sometimes, but at least I'm here talking to you fine folks. Have any of you ever been robbed at gunpoint? Or sword point? Or like toenail clippers point? Tell me about your robbery stories in the comments. I'll reply to all the ones that I see. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you like my terrible content that I will bestow unto you every couple days, maybe, depending on how terribly lazy I am. But seriously, I've had so much support lately from everyone out there, and I couldn't be happier. You make me feel less dead inside. Like I don't want to die as much nowadays. And it's all because of you guys. I really truly love all of you that are giving me, positive messages and positive comments and liking and sharing everything. It means a lot to me. So until next time, get on it, doggone it. Bye.